So welcome to hour one. So this is part of our 4-hour silent retreat, generally every first Saturday of the month at our usual daily practice time, and then we carry it forward. One of the things that I like to do is just take this extended time. And I thought, if I'm going to do a half day silence, why don't I do it online so that we can all do it together? I think that our group energy and the presence that we bring to a practice that we're doing together live is more potent often than what it would be if we were to just do it on our own. I know for me, when I start to do a long practice, my mind wanders, and sometimes I think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But when I'm doing it as a practice like this with a group, I'm much more focused, so that I tend to go deeper, even though I'm talking as I'm guiding the practice, but I'm still really enjoying the depth of silence and the extra time. So what today holds is however you want to do it is great. Don't feel any pressure at all to do the whole 4 hours. What we're doing is 45-minute practices on the hour. And the first one is our usual breathe, shake, dance practice, and then going into stillness. The second one, I'll just put this up in Insight Timer as well. It's awareness through the layers of being, the 5 koshas practice. And then we have 2 more. So each hour on the hour, we do a 45-minute practice. So welcome. Let's get settled and get started as we're just noticing this experience that we're about to move into. And the practice actually starts a little ahead of time often because we'll think about it or we'll get ready for it or maybe light a candle or however it is that we prepare to practice. And this might be your regular, whenever I can, I come in on Saturdays and I wasn't aware that this is a special day, and that's fine too. But if you can, and if you're inspired to stay for more of the practices, you're really welcome to do that as well. So I see many, many familiar names and some some new excuse me, and some new people as well. So all of you are very welcome. Let's start by looking around the room and establishing our personal safety. One thing about being on an online group is that there's nobody right in our physical space. And so we can look around and it might be kind of an everyday thing. It's like, yeah, my space is what it usually is. I'm, with these people, or I'm alone, or I'm in the city, or I'm in the country, or my dog's here, or I don't have one, or whatever that is. So we have this usual, and that our nervous system likes usual because it's predictable. And it might be emotionally similar, or it might be something's really going on right now. So as we're bringing ourselves into the practice, it's so good to get in touch with that. And if this is your first time doing a retreat with me, welcome. And if it's your 100th time, welcome as well. Well, I don't know if we've done 100 of these online. I do one every year, a longer retreat in December. And then I've been doing these monthly retreats as well. And then, of course, every day we do a practice. So notice as you're looking around the room if there's anything concerning. If there's not, that's good to know. And notice as well what is helping you feel safer, more nurtured, more supported. Notice your breath. Does it feel okay to take some deep breaths? Move your body around, make some noise. What does that feel like? Mm-hmm. Let's go into about a 15-minute or so practice of breathe, shake, dance. This is inspired by Dr. James Gordon with the Center for Mind Body Medicine. And I interviewed him for the Radical Recovery Summit several years ago. He does some wonderful work all over the world. And they go to places where there's been a group trauma and do this practice in person. Sometimes like 500 people in a room are doing the practice together. So we don't have that opportunity, but we do have the opportunity to do it get together online. So let's just settle into that awareness. Here we are. We do 2 minutes of breath awareness. You can do it practice like cyclic sighing, or you could just be aware of your breath. What do we notice as we breathe? The coolness as we breathe in, continuity of the breath. Many times people have a habit of holding the breath. Notice your breath. And notice what happens when you take a deeper breath. When you make a little bit of noise with your breath, or just some kind of movement with your breath, maybe bring your shoulders up. Release on an exhale, let your body soften. This is just a time to notice, do an initial check in with the breath, what's happening as you tune into your breath. Notice where your mind is. The next 2 minutes are going to be shaking, qigong, shaking the tree practice, or any kind of movement that you want to do. So you can do it from your chair, you can do it standing, and let your body start to shake. Now, one of the things that's helpful with this is that we can shake out some of the tension or frustration. If you're feeling kind of sluggish, you might flow into this a little quieter. What does your body want to do for movement right now? You can get your hips and shoulders moving. It helps to get tension or energy out of the chest, the heart, the emotion, out of your gut, the fear, anger, whatever's in your body. You can jump or bounce. You can bring your hands and fists above your head and then open them as you throw the energy into the ground. Make some noise. Release whatever's stuck. Like timing this because usually after about a minute or minute and a half, I'm like, okay. And then I still got another minute to go. It's like, oh, that feels nice to continue on with that for a little bit. Then we come back to the breath. Notice your whole body. Notice the experience of that in your body, the energy, the oxygen. You might do a practice again, or you might just watch. See if you can allow your breath to be continuous so that you're not holding your breath. And breathe in maybe a little more deeply or maybe a little more softly. It often feels really helpful to let the energy release out of our body before we go back into stillness. And it's also a great practice just on its own. So, what are you observing now about your emotional state, your mental activity or stillness, about your breath itself? And now we're going to move into a dance. I know many of you do these dance parties with me, are familiar with these two tunes.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap
Right. Whew. And now we come back again after that experience. Come back into the breath. Into your body, into your energy. Notice your breath. Let your body get settled into stillness again. Or maybe you want to keep moving. That's okay too. We could each let ourselves have the experience that feels the most helpful right now. Happy. Mhm. Notice where your mind is. Where are your thoughts? Are you feeling kind of exhilarated? And is your mind still, or is it exhilarated and your mind is busy? What's happening in your whole experience, body and mind? One of the things that's so helpful in a meditation practice, somatic mindfulness practice, is to let ourselves be aware of what would be the most helpful. So even though it's time for us to come into stillness, might not be your time to come into stillness. You might want to move around a little or do a bit of yoga or stand and look out the window, or what would be the, if you were to listen to your body, what would be the urging from your body? Sometimes we really feel like it's more possible to let our body be supported. So that's one place where we could pay attention as well. Notice the whole of your back body. And are you settled back into the support that you have, or down? If you're laying on the floor or the ground, if you're sitting in a chair, if you're leaning back, what does that feel like? Could you let yourself settle a bit more? And are you warm enough? It's hard to relax when we're cold. So just notice, well, if I got a shawl, which I think I'll do, I'm not super cold, but I'd be more comfortable if I had a shawl. What does that feel like now? So we have this little moment of being cared for, as well as your body might be a little more comfortable. As you're paying attention to the back of your body, you might notice your shoulders, your neck. If you were to bring your shoulders up on an inhale and down on an exhale, or move them around, that might feel more comfortable. We have a lot of habits in our body that we could work with. Let's bring our awareness to in a practice like this. What's happening in your mid-back area in behind your heart center? So you might have some muscles that are tense, like the muscles that cover the shoulder blades, go out to the back of the shoulder joints, down into the arms. There's a lot of muscles in our back that operate our arms, especially. We do a lot with our arms and hands. What does it feel like in your arms and hands right now in terms of being still? Good idea? Not so much? Notice the palms of your hands. You might even rub your hands together and bring some warmth into your palms. You could bring that warmth to your face or to your heart. Somewhere in your body, you could hold your own hands. This is another support, a way to feel nourished and supported. Holding our own hands. Our body interprets this as somebody cares enough to hold my hand. It's interesting how our body interprets what's going on. And if there's nothing that your arms and hands are feeling edgy about, is there anything you need to get up and do right now? Do you need to do the dishes? Do you need to pet your dog? Is there anything you need to do right now? And if you don't, would it be okay for your arms to rest? Your shoulders to drop any preparedness? Let your arms rest. And as we breathe in deeply, we have another opportunity to release tension out of the chest and out of the back. Either moving or still. And as we come down behind the back of the heart again, is there anything going on emotionally that would be helpful for you to attune with? Sometimes we carry a lot of grief or joy, or we often carry emotions in our heart center. And sometimes when we check in with our heart center, it's fairly neutral. Other times there's a lot of sensation there. And sensation is often linked with thoughts in the mind. So if you're feeling kind of angry and hard-hearted about something or about someone, you probably have some kind of sensation about that in your heart area. And then that sensation often kind of activates more thoughts, which activates more sensation. So one of the beautiful things about coming into stillness and letting the mind come to stillness is that some of that sensation starts to get less intense. Notice what your heart is saying. We could notice that in the back, in between the shoulder blades, in the area there. We can notice it in the front of the chest. And does it feel okay right now to let your emotional state just move a bit to the background? Or would it be better, more supportive, to let it be in the foreground for a while? And that changes day to day, moment to moment. But right now, for you, You want to let your mind become still. Just let your awareness be in your heart center, the front and the back and in the middle. Or maybe you want to expand your awareness to include your whole body, to focus on the breath for a moment. Just let yourself feel. And when we're feeling, we're also working with fear, anxiety, which is more in the navel center and in the gut. Most people, or many people, experience fear in the gut. So, what's happening in that area of your body? In the back would be the lower back, down to your pelvic floor, your hips, up through to the navel center, the front of your belly. And here, of course, we're working with noticing our body might be moving with our breath. So if we're breathing diaphragmatically, then our breath is, as we exhale, our stomach gets softer, moves back towards the spine. As we breathe in, the stomach rises or expands. It's the action of the diaphragm muscle at the lower rib cage. And notice if there's any sensation in the gut that might be activating some thoughts in your mind. That would be our nervous system doing its job. There's nothing wrong when that happens. That's just the way it works. And then we could take some deeper breaths. We could relax our shoulders. We could focus our mind on something else. We might look around the room again and notice, is there any danger here right now? There's certainly danger in the world. There's danger or threats in our personal life. And right now, in this moment, could I take a break from that? It's a very effective way to restore strength and resilience if we give ourselves a break. So let's come down into the legs and feet now. The legs, the large muscles of the thighs in particular. This is how we fight and flee. So, very associated with the nervous system. And notice if you're settled or if you're ready to move. Is your body a little hypervigilant? Are you ready to go into a fight or flight? So you might notice the soles of your feet on the floor or on the wherever they are. They might be in the air if you're lying down. You might notice the large muscles of your thighs. Do a tension and release. It's helpful sometimes. Squeeze and then exhale, release. Do that 3 times. Squeeze the muscles of your thighs. Release. And then squeeze again. And release. You might shake your legs out or point and flex your feet or do something with your whole body. Wiggle around a little and notice your seat. I'm on a chair, so I can notice the seat on my chair. And then the chair goes a little bit mid-thigh, and then I've got air underneath my legs, and then behind the calves and into the heels and the feet on the floor. But however you're situated, are you accepting the support of whatever it is, the floor or the chair? Is your nervous system allowing you to settle back into the support? No right or wrong answer, no shaming either way. Take a few breaths and notice, does it feel okay to do that? To let your body rest? If you have some kind of edgy energy in your legs, it's usually because there's some kind of hypervigilance in your nervous system. It's often accompanied by certain kinds of thoughts. There's anxiety in the body. We need to be ready to protect ourselves. So as we look around and as we look inside and realize that's actually not the case right in this moment, sometimes we can breathe a big sigh of relief. I could let all of that vigilance just release for a little while. After the practice, when I go back into that conversation with that person, or when I get in my car and drive, I need to be awake and alert and vigilant. Maybe not hyper vigilant, but vigilant. But right now, what is the least amount that would be still safe for you? And then let's move into that. Let your whole system come into a lower vigilance. And of course, on the other side of this coin is you might be in a freeze response. Your body might be still, but it's stuck. And if you shook it out and if you did some dancing, that often helps our body come alive. So maybe that's you're a little bit more on a even plane again. But if you're noticing that, yeah, I'm not having any trouble staying still, but my mind feels kind of sluggish. I don't know if I would be able to respond if somebody knocked on the door or if something happened. I'm in a freeze. So could I bring myself up a little out of that? We want to be in the center. We're not overactive in our sympathetic nervous system, fight and flight. We're not underactive. We're not in a state of freeze. We're in ventral vagal, it's called. We're in a state of, I'm not in a survival response right now. Well, let's sit with that for a bit. It's safe enough for me to be here, to accept the support that I have through the chair, the floor, through the air I breathe. And I could let my whole nervous system rest for a bit. Keep an eye on thoughts in your mind. If your mind takes you somewhere else, come back. Notice sensations, energy in your body. Let your breath be smooth and continuous. Let yourself notice that your body is safe enough to be here. We could have a rest. If your mind is wandering off, you could just let that go into the background. Or you could give yourself something to focus on again, maybe the sensations of air in your nose, the soles of your feet, your seat. And notice what builds and changes in your body as you're still. You might notice that you've gone into more of a breath holding again, or your breath isn't as continuous. Usually, certain kinds of thoughts will come through. In the last few minutes of the practice, you might even bring forward a sense of gratitude and appreciation for bringing yourself here to do this practice. Bring yourself through the memory of the practice, the breathing at the beginning, the awareness of the 4-hour silent retreat that we're participating in, however that might be for you, of the shaking practice. What did it feel like to really shake that energy out of your body? More breathing, then the dance, respect and happy, and then back into breath and stillness. Noticing, am I able to let my body really rest and be supported? All the things we learn about our nervous system when we work with our body. Bring your awareness into your heart, into a warmth. We could warm our own heart by bringing ourselves into our heart. However perfectly or imperfectly we did this practice, it doesn't matter. So I really appreciate myself for coming here, for being willing to engage with my own being, with my body and breath on this level, to give myself an opportunity to rest. I could feel that warmth in my heart. I could take a few deeper breaths, open my eyes, bring a bit of movement into my body. Let yourself feel the end of the practice. And if you're inspired to join me for the next hour, we're working with the 5 koshas practice, awareness through the layers of being, our physical body, pranamaya kosha, energy and breath, both levels of the mind, the layer of bliss that covers our true self, So we'll start that on the hour. And in the meantime, you could maintain silence if you want, or go about and just take whatever kind of a break you want. It's sunny here. I think I'm going to go stand outside for a moment, and then we'll come back. Thank you for being here.